If I could have your attention, please. Ms. Whitby says it is 6 o'clock, and so we'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Whitby, if you'll call the roll.
Yes, sir. Ross?
Here.
White? Does anyone know if White is coming?
White is not here tonight.
She's not going to be here? You should let me know that ahead of time.
She emailed you.
Did not see any.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
It's my story.
Taylor? No one knows? Okay. Robinson?
Here.
Baxter?
Here.
Fouch?
Here.
Height? Here. And Witcher? Quorum is present, sir.
Thank you. I invite you to stand for the prayer and pledge by Alderman Fouch.
Lord, thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight, do business for the best of the city and the residents all amongst us. Best wishes to the ones that are at home are in ill health. My blessing tonight is to touch the hearts of each and every person wandering the streets, rioting with hate. Please show them the correct way, the true way. Speaking your opinion is perfect, but violence and taking that violence out amongst your fellow man is beyond the pale of reasonableness. In God's name we trust. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So moved. Second.
On the motion.
The motion to approve the minutes and the special call from the previous meeting, Ross?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Fouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. How about communications? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody want to pull
Number
those?
4.
Pulling 4.
I just have a question. I don't really want to pull
Well,
it.
ask it.
It's about 2 and 3.
Okay.
It just, to me, I don't know, it just seems like there's something a little different about those two memorandums.
They are different. One of them
Can you
is
explain that?
for,
Does it make
one of them is for the gas station to sell beer off premise, and the other one is for the restaurant to sell alcohol inside the restaurant.
Okay, so that, one of them is is the gas station down there. It runs along 440. I went down there. Okay. And the other one is now the hamburger place is going to have mixed drinks, correct?
Selling.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Is that there by Faulkner Lake Road?
Yeah, right there off, right off of 440.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to pull 4. How about a motion to accept 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion.
On 1 through 3, Ross?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Fouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Number 4, do you want that read?
You don't have to read it in its entirety. That's
Okay.
a lot. If you can just kind of like give the dates
Okay.
and what it's for.
Okay. This is a notice of public hearings and funding availability. It is for, let's see, applying for categories of funding through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for year 2017 Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Funds. Public hearings will be held in Ward 1 on August the 2nd at the North Little Rock Boys and Girls Club at 6, and Ward 2 on Wednesday, August 3rd at 6 at the Rose City Police Substation, and Wards 3 and 4 will be Thursday, August 4th at 6 p.m. at the North Heights Recreation Center.
Moved
Thank-
it. Moved to accept the file.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Couch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Whitby. How about special call?
Mayor, are we broadcasting?
Yeah, do we need to be concerned about that?
Well, I really wanted to watch the ball game tonight while the meeting was going on, so. Mr. Billings, the ball game zone out here, my question is, are we broadcasting? And while you're figuring that out, we'll go on to special call.
Special call is an email dated Friday, July 22nd from City Attorney C. Jason Carter. Honorable members of the North Little Rock City Council, the purpose of this email is to advise you that Mayor Smith has called a special meeting of the North Little Rock City Council at 6 p.m. on Monday, July 25th, 2016 at City Hall Council Chambers. Following will be on the agenda. R-16-123, a resolution appropriating $75,000 for construction of sidewalks and other improvements near 700 Broadway in the city of North Little Rock. The sponsor is Mayor Smith. 01649, an ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for replacement of the roof on the Party House at Idlewild Park in the city of North Little Rock and appropriating funds. Sponsors are Mayor Smith, Alderman Debbie Ross, and Beth White. Also attached is the Risk Management Committee Quarterly Report for the year 2016, Quarter 2, and this is pursuant to Section 2-482 of the North Little Rock Municipal Code. It was sent to all members, and they have responded.
Thank you, ma'am.
R16-123,
Please call it.
a resolution appropriating $75,000 for construction of sidewalks and other improvements near 700 Broadway in the city of North Little Rock.
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
01649, Mayor Smith, Alderman Ross, and White.
Please call it.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for replacement of the roof on the Party House at Idlewild Park in the city of North Little Rock, appropriating funds, first reading.
Moves, and the rules are placed on its second reading.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for replacement of the roof on the Party House at Idlewild Park in the city of North Little Rock and appropriating funds, second reading.
Moves, and the rules placed on third and final reading.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion, Ross?
We have some discussion too. Do you want to go ahead and do this and then discuss it?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's vote, and then we'll discuss.
Okay, so this is the motion to suspend.
This is the final reading, correct?
No, it's not been
Okay.
read. This
Yes.
is- Okay. Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for replacement of the roof on the Party House at Idlewild Park in the city of North Little Rock and appropriating funds, third and final reading.
How about a motion, then we'll talk.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
I just want to say, anytime that we waive a formal bid, I have, really hesitate on this, but I'd like for Chris Wilburn, the city engineer, after speaking with him, that's the only reason that I agreed to sponsor this, and he can give you a little update on what's going on here at Idlewild Park. The building is, okay, it's showing.
Okay, let me give you a summary. This is a Parks Department project at Idlewild. There's several parts to it, but this particular part is the re-roof of the existing Party House. We did a competitive quotes in June, and we have received those, and what you have is the low quote for doing this project.
What is your opinion on the roof currently? Is it in harm's way of failing?
Yeah, the roof is currently unsound, as you can see in the pictures. They're sagging. There is some definitely water damage and wood rot. I am a licensed structural engineer, so I am the engineer overcharge of this when we send out for the quotations. Because it's over $25,000, it requires an engineer, and I am that engineer for this particular project. And the contract has not been awarded, so we could bid it. I am recommending that we go ahead. We got two good qualified quotes on the project, and we took the low quote.
What's the condition of the inside of that building presently? Is it being utilized?
Yeah,
All the time.
This facility gets utilized very much. The quotes we got the quotations sometime in June. The first time that there's any space to allow this re-roof, the Parks is arranged to have a window in time to replace the roof, which is August 8th. And
Yeah, it's rented a lot. Ms. Ross?
Can you just kind of give us, explain to me of the process, if we do bid this out, how long it's going to take, and then we're getting into winter, and this thing is rented out all the time. I know the neighborhood group, I'm in there at least once a month, the neighborhood group. There's been a lot of work done there as far as making this ADA, putting in handicap parking spaces, putting in handicap sidewalks, and to get the ramp to go into the building, the roof has to be done first. Parks had money in their budget this year for this building, and then the issue with the roof came up, and so the money's being thrown over onto the roof now. So,
Yeah, if we decide to bid it, it can go one or two ways. Because I am a licensed structural engineer, we could do the work, design work in-house, the plans and specs in-house. That would take approximately time, given my time, probably a month, and then we would bid it out. I would say take two months to get it, 2 to 3 months. And the other option is to go out and get an engineer to expedite it a little bit quicker. I anticipate engineering for this roof to be in the range of $4,000 to $5,000.
Which is, I mean, these particular projects that are around that price range, it's a double-edged sword because of the cost, and he doesn't have time to do it, so you're going to have to hire it done. Mr. Fauch?
In section 5, it says that once you start the commencement of the work on the roof, it could contribute to further damage, thereby generating additional costs. And I had some questions about that, and my wife loves these property brothers, and you buy a house and flip it, and every time they seem to rip off a wall or something, there's all this unfound mystery behind the wall. How will we handle any potentially could find damage situations? Is this going to be coming back for more money, or can the parks people do this, or we won't know until it's actually there?
I consider that paragraph, correct me, Jason, if I'm wrong, that's kind of a contingency paragraph.
Yeah, and actually, I think the point that we were trying to draw out in the 5th clause of that ordinance, it's an emergency clause. It allows, immediate enactment. Honestly, what it's worded incorrectly. What that needs to say is to reflect to the council that if we don't get work done quickly, that we'll have more harm to the building. It's to justify the emergency. It's I think I'm missing a knot in there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Ross?
and on those lines, and I will say that, I know Chris has told me no, once they took the roof off, it's got that drop ceiling, and I was wanting to take the drop ceiling out and leave the trusses exposed and have more of a cabin feel. As Chris has explained to me, though, we need the insulation in there. So as far as anything like that, I don't see anything like that happen. But the funds that were set aside were for the inside to fix it up. I mean, it's old. It's old in there. It's used a lot. It has a little kitchen, and it was to make the restrooms ADA. So none of that can be done. There will still be funds left over. I don't know how much, but nothing can be done until the roof is done. And I know another thing that Chris brought up too is if we get into a season where we possibly have any snow, that's when we're really going to worry about the roof. So,
On the motion?
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Whitby.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to our special call, there's also a Risk Management Committee quarterly report that was sent out. I'd ask that to be accepted by City Council as a communication.
Okay,
Move
So
accepted. Second.
on the motion?
On the motion to accept the report as communication, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you. Before we go into the normal agenda, we have public comments on legislation, and the first one is Mr. Jim Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are wanting to add a sign, adding letters to the Vestal chimney. It's going to be the letters Rockwater. This chimney is the centerpiece of Rockwater Village. The signage has been designed by landscape architect Martin Smith, who also did the Heifer building. This sign will only be visible from the south side of the chimney, so nobody from the other sides will be bothered by or be able to see it. This sign will be able to bring visible attention to the riverfront, and we feel like it will be a positive addition, a great positive addition to the riverfront and to the city. The sign will also have a timer so that the lights will go off at night as it gets later in the evening. And we appreciate your vote.
Question?
Question.
And maybe Judge, our city attorney can answer this too. Why are we applying for an off-premise sign when Rockwater, that chimney, is right in the middle of Rockwater?
I think normally when we look at a off-premise or on-premise sign, that's a commercial structure that goes with a business. There's no business that's co-located with it. I see what your interpretation could be. It would be different than what we've done in the past because it's sort of a standalone sign. I think that's why it's considered off-premise. And I'm sure Mr. Spencer is here too. He may be able to elaborate more on that for you, but that'd be my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Lisa Farrell.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this as well. I wanted to add a couple additional facts. The chimney is something that we recognize the significance of. As owners of the chimney, we are thrilled and designed the area specifically to keep it. Long ago, when we had the public charrettes that included everyone in the area, making it an important centerpiece was one of our things that we wanted to do. The other thing that I wanted to note is that we were thrilled to be here this evening to share with you, be available for questions. We did provide notice in accordance with the rules and regulations that Sean Spencer told us. So we used that process of off-premise sign and complied and provided notice to the neighborhood per requirements. We have lots of support for this from folks. We've got emails that we would be glad to share with the aldermen if you haven't received them already. Folks from who live on 8th Street, as well as folks that will actually be next to the chimney and able to see it. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Harlan Hunter.
Hello, Mayor and City Councilman. I'm opposing the sign altogether because of the attraction that it will bring and so forth, and maybe someone can help me clear some things up. Even when Vessels was there, when the chimney was there, my understanding was a historic chimney. And I'm still trying to figure out, even when the city took the initiative, because I don't know what happened when the chimney came about and the street came about, what happened with the co-ownership between Lisa and Jim and with the city, even for the city to take, that was the city land, my understanding. So my whole thing is, I'm trying to figure out, where did the city and Jim and Lisa, what took place for
I can answer
transaction?
That. I can answer that. The Jim and Lisa owned the property, and they gave the right-of-way to the city to build the road.
Mm-hmm.
And, golly, I wasn't even mayor. This is 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago maybe. I didn't want the chimney because I didn't want the liability or the responsibility of the chimney. So we made it as such that they would keep ownership of the chimney and would build a road around it. So that's how it happened.
So that was a partnership that you and Jim had for the city. Because my whole, being on the board at one time, when all this did come back, before you became mayor, with the former Mayor Hayes, a lot of this transition, even about the chimney, was still in place. As for that's been a historic landmark from Vestas. And like I said, didn't understand where this sign came about. Even like I said, I'm gonna say it like this, and I can't be very direct. I have issues with a lot of that anyway, due to the fact, as Barron Cross, we've been left out from the table of a lot of discussions, not only with the WAC water, and I say this because when we speak of WAC water, like I've said this before, Mayor, and I think you know I've said this, where the entities between Barron Cross and WAC water have always crossed paths. In the process of crossing those paths together, knowing what I know of so much have taken place, because River Road was part of Barron Cross, true? In the process, River Road being part of Barron Cross and the way things have taken place in the past, like I said, even with the sign, I think there's a lot of things going on between WAC water and Barron Cross. We can get adamant sidewalks, lighting, streets, especially when there's been $50 million spent in Barron Cross. We can't see $50 million. We can't see $50 million. And
Are you
even-
getting a little off topic?
No, not at all, not at all. Because like I said, I'm discussing the sign and why I oppose that sign.
Okay.
And that's why I said what I said. If we have $50 million spent in Barron Cross and WAC water started out as part of Barron Cross, where is this money that's supposed to have been allocated for Barron Cross while we can't see any of that money?
Okay.
That's part of it.
That's all private money, Harlan. That's private money, that's not city money. Andrea Newton.
Hi, I'm here with Habitat for Humanity, and most of my questions were just answered, so just wanted to show the support to the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all we got there. Let's go on into the agenda, I guess.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
While we're on that subject, would it be okay to call that ordinance now?
Absolutely.
Okay, 01647, Alderwoman Robinson.
Please call it.
An ordinance allowing an off-premise sign for certain real property located at 1525 Rockwater Boulevard in the city of North Little Rock, first reading.
Move to suspend the rules.
Move to suspend all readings. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. On the motion?
On the motion to suspend the readings, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
All right, I believe we have to call a public hearing, which we kind of had one, but I'll go ahead and call another public hearing. Is there anyone here that did not speak on this legislation that wants to speak on this legislation? Seeing none, close.
I just want to make a comment.
Okay.
That the sign, the city is not paying any money to do this sign. The money has been spent by Mr. Jackson and Lisa. We're not spending any money at all on this sign. And I'd like to also say that Sean contacted the History Commission. They never responded regarding this chimney.
Okay. How about a motion to adopt?
You want to close?
I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor.
Are we still in the public hearing?
Are we done with public hearing? Do you want to talk in public hearing or out of it?
Out of it.
Let's close
This one
it.
we have does not.
Go ahead, man.
So, I guess, just for clarity, so we're talking about a private sign on a piece of private property?
Correct.
Okay.
Ms. Ross?
And this doesn't fall in the category of electronic copy signs because it does not change, because it's not changeable. And I guess that was my question. Is this actually been declared a historic landmark or
Don't start me
historic?
lying.
I thought,
No.
Mr. Farrell, they're shaking, Mr. Farrell, Mr. Jackson and Lisa Farrell, they're shaking their heads no. So it's not a historic, okay. And only Little Rock will see it, correct?
Right. On the motion.
I didn't catch who made the motion.
Who made the motion?
Maury?
Mr. Taylor, did you make the motion?
So move.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's go to new business.
Okay, resolutions, R16-119, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 1516 Poplar Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Call a public hearing on 1516 Poplar. Anybody here to speak on that? Seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
R16-120, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 4523 Boyer Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
How about a motion?
Second.
Mr. Baxter, Mr. Fouch, call a public hearing, 4523 Boyer. Anyone here to speak on 4523 Boyer? Seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
R16-121, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 719 West 35th Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
So move.
Second.
And call a public hearing on 719 West 35th Street. 719 West 35th, seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
R16-122, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
Resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Call a public hearing. Anyone here to speak on grass cutting liens and abatement of other nuisances lien? Seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Ordinances 01646, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a promissory note to provide short-term financing under Amendment Number 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for improvements to the North Little Rock Recreational Vehicle Park, providing for the payment of the principal of and interest on the note, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
Motion to suspend the readings.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt?
So
So
move.
moved. Second.
Ms. Ross.
Okay, I spoke with Ms. Scott today. Now, the the Convention Center, AMP, whatever, they will make the payment, correct?
Exactly.
They will make the repayment. Will they have the money to make it?
Yes.
So they won't have to have their budget expanded at the end of the year to make that payment? Okay, good.
Yeah, they've got, this is their third loan, that they paid the other two off.
Right.
And so this is going to add pads for those big motorhomes to park on.
If I'm,
Yes.
word of mouth in the RV world, especially in those big motorhomes, is that they talk amongst themselves and several of different blogs out there. This type of improvement, I think, will keep that thing full of some of the biggest motorhomes that you see on the roads, and those people will spend money in town. So
It's been a success extraordinaire.
You know, I'll have a comment to that. I'm through the RV park almost 4, maybe 5 mornings a week on riding bicycles with myself and some other guys. And I'm amazed at some of the rigs that are down there. There's a lot of money down there on wheels that really truly deserve what
Yeah,
we're doing.
the
right
average
here.
stay, I think, is 3 nights. They have spendable income, and last time we had a big group down there, I was down there, and one of the ladies said, "We don't cook. We go out to eat." So, all of our restaurants in town are certainly appreciative of the economic impact that does.
Yeah, if they can afford some of those $1 million rigs they got down there, they can afford to.
Absolutely. All right, on the motion.
The motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
01648, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 8213 defining NERC and FERC compliance services as professional service to include RTO compliance services. First reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
And let me make sure there's an emergency. There is. On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Concludes new business.
Thank you very much. Public comments, we have one signed up. Mr. Taylor, Bobby Taylor.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Bobby Taylor. Mayor, a couple of months or so back, we run 2 sweeps over Rose City to help clean it up. It done a little bit in some places it ain't done nothing. And I know I drive through the neighborhood from time to time, see people working out in their yard just like I do. Still a few out there that has pride, and they kind of, I guess, displeased the way their neighbor and stuff does. Of course, some of them are renters, and I think some of them are homeowners. But, and I've been talking to Harold Ford. We picked up a bunch of garbage cans, a bunch of recycled, but they don't even know when they're supposed to be put out. They was out last week. Today's the day they're supposed to be out, and they've been there all week. And what I want to talk to you about is doing this again, and I want to, if you don't mind, pick my crew. It's going to be you, Miss Robinson, Code Enforcement, Harold Ford and his crew, and the Police Department, and do this again. And some of the people, it's piling their garbage and stuff. In fact, the house was burnt last night. The one at Harold has picked up stuff twice at this house. They just throw it over the 6-foot chain link fence. They leave the garbage cans out there all week long, and they just bring the garbage out there and throw it over them chain link fence out in the edge of the street. And it's scattered. It goes from here to yonder. It's there all week. And I know this flyer that was sent out, it said the garbage cans were supposed to be put back beside of the house after the day that the garbage was picked up, and the recycles were supposed to be the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that I was right on what the trash, like limbs and stuff, was supposed to be put out at a certain time. They put that stuff out all the time, and they put concrete blocks, bricks, steel, everything else in it. That's not right, and that stuff just stays there and clutters up the neighborhood. And Harold tells me what he can pick up and what he can't.
Right.
And I went and looked at some of the stuff, and he's went and tagged a couple of places, and they got the concrete block and stuff out of it, and finally got it picked up. But that's all over Rose City like that. So, do you have authority to tag these houses? I mean, I don't want to see nobody get in trouble. But when it looks like a city dump and people don't care, I don't care if they get a ticket. It don't bother me,
I don't either.
you know.
I'm going to appoint Ms. Robinson as chairman of that committee.
Well, there's some people, you know, that go to school and don't ever learn nothing.
I know it.
it
Bobby,
needs to be-
it's a
they need to be
never-ending
sent
battle. We're not ever going to, will we ever get on top of it? Maybe. But let's just keep working on it. You know, I mean, that focus group that we did for 2 weeks or however long it lasted, let's do it again. I think we're planning one right now in Levy.
I know there's some places out there
Are we?
that it did work, and there's some places you don't even look like it.
Yeah.
Harold Ford's ever been there, and I've seen the trucks come through and pick the stuff up, and the next day they got that much more piled out there. I don't know where they're getting this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they bring it from other places.
Well, I know they do,
yeah.
but there ought to be something.
Let's
they've
just
done
keep
about
working
that.
on it. You know, you and I in the next month will go out there and take a ride around. I might be able to ride a ticket or two.
Okay, but I'm gonna be
I can
back here in
ride-
2
I
weeks.
can ride a ticket, can't I, Jason?
Y'all just
Sure, Mayor. We'll prosecute it.
Y'all don't have to take my picture, but you'll see me here every 2 weeks to give you a report. You don't have to take a picture and look at it. I'll be here.
We love for you to be our eyes and ears out there, Bobby, so you come back
I lived
every
out there for over 55 years. That's my neighborhood, too.
I know it.
And I don't like the way it looks.
I agree. I'm right there with you. I drive out there once a week.
If there's anything I can do, I'm on see.
We'll do it together.
You don't know till you do it. It's like a little article come to the Crime Watch that said, people working together can get something done.
Amen, brother.
People that just talks don't never do nothing but talk. So
That's right.
we're going to start on it.
Let's get it.
Thank you.
Ms. Ross.
The report from the Risk Management Committee, we skipped over that really quick, and I was just wondering if Mr. Carter could kind of just, we've asked for this, we should at least hear about it.
I can be pretty brief about it. I'm not going to try to hold everybody up, but I would and enjoy just a second to talk about the report. The findings are we're fully compliant. I've got notes in about some of the activity, but I think the primary block that you'd want to look at is the table that shows the transactions that were approved and that were executed. I've got a summary point that says that we acquired it's approximately, it's very close, 52,750 megawatt hours for delivery next year. It shows that those hours are very targeted to where we felt like we needed them from a risk management standpoint. That was at a price of less than $1.5 million. In other words, we're under $28 a megawatt hour for all those purchases. So very advantageous prices. We saw the price creep up a little bit towards the end of our second quarter. Natural gas was making a rebound, pushed the prices up a little bit. But so you can see the very last transaction that we had, we didn't execute because we felt like we were in a price bubble and didn't end up executing that transaction. So I think that we're on pace to where we want to be by the end of the year. I think we're progressing well. And you're going to see in the next quarterly report come around that we're going to exercise some of that authority to reach out into future years and just start layering in just small energy blocks a little bit at a time and just building our portfolio to spread the risk out and try to minimize our cost when it makes most sense for us to do that. Interestingly, there's one transaction that we had in April that had to do with the FTR auction, where we went into the auction for financial transmission rights. After we had consultation with the Energy Authority, we found out we could bid a negative price. So bidding a negative price to acquire financial transmission rights that help us for delivery of power between Arkansas Hub and our price point, and we actually got paid over $53,000 for the positions that we took that help us manage risk. So having those guys for consultants is really paying off for us. We're happy with the relationship. I think we're getting good information. I'd say as the risk management committees go, as it progresses, there is very open conversation. People share their opinions as to what we think is a good deal or a bad deal. We don't do every transaction that gets proposed, but every action that we have taken has been uniformly approved by all members of the risk management committee, everyone on staff, and our power manager all agree that it's a good deal for the city. So that's reflective of what we've done thus far, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
This has been a learning curve for us because we've never done business like this before, but I am very proud of the job that they've been doing. And when you walk in that room and you see Karen and Danny and James sitting around there with all of our staff, trying to make these decisions, you feel pretty comfortable that we got our brightest sitting around the table making these decisions. So I'm real proud of you guys. Ms. Ross?
I just say I am too. The small amounts, I guess that's what I was surprised about. I thought that they would be working with large amounts rather than 5 megawatts or 8 megawatts or whatever. So
yeah,
really
the reason why we're doing that is because we're forecasting our load for next year to see where is it that we need to buy blocks of power to manage our risk best. And then we're trying to make just those narrow purchases to fill in those gaps along our curve. So it's just blocking in right underneath our curve to acquire the power where we need it.
So,
okay, go ahead.
I had one other thing. Thank you, Mr. Carter. Appreciate it. I read it, but it sounds better when you say it, so. We've got a lot, it's a city-owned lot in Ward 1. The city has to mow it. It was a house that we condemned. They ended up donating it to the city. Why we ever took it, I don't know. But, I mean, the street department has to maintain this property. They're always out there mowing. And when we had the Land Task Force Committee, they listed all the properties that the city owned and everything. And the recommendation was to sell these properties that we own, these lots. And I'm just curious, you know, I would much rather have it put back on the tax record if the neighbor wanted to buy it and them maintain it, clear our street department up to go out on the streets, or put a for sale sign out there.
Where's this one you're talking about? Where is it?
This one is on West 23rd Street. We've got
I
one
don't
on
wanna sell it.
19. We've got several of them.
Yeah, I don't want to sell it. Let me tell you why. We own quite a few over there, and I don't want to sell them for somebody to come in there and as a slumlord and start, you know, building some more rental property. And we own enough now that I think we could go in there and maybe even buy the rest of that awful street. I mean, 23rd Street's awful. And so when we were approached the other day about that one, I said, let's just don't sell it. Let's gather what we got and let's start looking at trying to buy the rest of them. Kind of a new local urban renewal, if you will. And, you know, with the CareLink building down there and at 22nd, and with the possibility of their expansion, once we get Gloryland Baptist Church torn down, you know, we could take that property over there and maybe turn it into something, you know, like that where we could take that whole block of awful old houses and turn it into something like a CareLink or a housing authority, general offices or things like that. So that's why I said, you know, you can't get anything out of those things. And so if it's worth $500, maybe. I mean, I don't know that I'd pay $500 for it. So that's why I said, let's don't sell them. So,
Okay, but it's not just 23rd. We've got them on 19th Street. They're spread out all over the city. We've got these lots in these residential neighborhoods, and that's, you know, that was one of the recommendations, was sell those. I mean, we're not in the landscaping businesses in these lots. We mow them, but we don't landscape these lots in some of these areas. So there's several that could be sold if we could look at those.
I would look at each one of them individually, absolutely. I mean, if there's one, just one over there on 19th Street and somebody wants to do something special with it, then yeah, let's sell it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Mayor and council members, first of all, you know, I want to commend the electric department for the work that was done when, you know, we were out of power. But I got a question, and I'm asking because I don't quite understand. I understand the grids, and each house is on a grid. But what I don't understand is that every time somebody hit a pole and there's a power outage, I'm getting there, or if there's a storm, there's a power outage, and it's always the same houses.
It's always the same what?
So,
Same houses.
So is that line weak and need to be strengthened, or what? Because every time it's the same houses, every time, and I don't understand that.
Well, I would think that if you give us those addresses, in about one day, we could figure out what's going on there. Because I don't know where you're talking about. Where is it?
My house. The people who live, the people that live on my side of the street, you know, and they're asking me, why is it always our house? If somebody hit a pole on 161, it's our 4 or 5 houses. If there's a storm, it's our houses.
We will get you a explanation. Right, James?
Mayor?
Well, let's just strengthen the line. If the line is weak, something's wrong. I ain't
While they're
crazy.
making a list, I've got a couple areas that I want to add to that same conversation.
Well, you can do it now, or you can catch James when we're through.
Okay, I'll tell him, but I get the same phone call every time the power goes off in my ward. I get a set of phone calls from the same area. almost every time.
And I
They go
bet I
out-
can explain three-fourths of them. Most of them are down there on Cedar Creek. It's because all that power
It
lines.
wasn't Cedar Creek this time,
Wasn't.
it's out there in Shady Valley Court, and
Yeah, same reason.
and up on 900 block of West 53rd Street, I believe it is.
Yeah, the same reason. There's a lot of green belt, and when you've got power lines running through green belts, even as much as we are tree trimming, you're going to have more problems. So, would you agree with that, James? Yeah, y'all, James will stay. Y'all visit with him, and if he can't answer the question, we'll look it up. Anybody else? Mr. Wright?
I just want to put in a good word for Harold Ford and his sanitation department. I've had a couple of phone calls in the last few days, and these guys are out there in 115-degree heat index, you know, and Harold's pulling them out a little bit early, and they didn't get to everything, but the people just bear with them. They'll get to you. This heat is tough to work in. Tough to
I
work
agree.
in.
Mr.
And the other
Beck?
thing, I think we ought to recognize that we've got John Owens in the audience tonight, our head of the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce.
John's
He's in
a regular.
attendance,
John,
and,
we're
yeah,
glad you're here.
I recognize him, yeah.
Steve?
Oh, Mayor, I'd just say that's the downside of trees is they happen to take out lines. And I know that the electric department, folks were out there, what we in the military would say, jobbing out, getting after it late into the wee hours of the night. And, sometimes those kinds of repairs just take longer than we'd like for them to take. When you're talking about, getting in somebody in there to remove the vegetation, setting a pole, and then, running the accoutrements from the pole, one pole to the next pole to the house.
That's me. Let me give you, I brought some information because I wanted to share it. Thursday evening, we had 7,049 customers out. 12 poles broken. 3 transformer banks, 6 transformers, 6 primary and secondary spans down. And then we got most all of those up, and then Friday evening, that second storm came in and took out another 1,546. But all total, we had 2,400 man hours. There were 24 poles that were snapped. And we were talking today, and I think that was more poles than we lost during the ice storm. And we lost 23 transformers. So it was one of those very unique storms. It came in Thursday night. By Saturday night, we had 99% of all of our customers up. And we had the storm Thursday night and Friday night. I know for a fact Little Rock was well, and, the Little Rock Athletic Club, they weren't back on until Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week. So our guys did a great job. But another thing I want to talk about is that we've got 147 street lights calls. Now, if one's out, there might be 3. So we probably have 300 or 400 street lights that are out right now. Our crews worked all weekend working on those. We lost 2 poles. So basically what I'm saying is have some patience. It's going to take us 2 or 3 weeks to get all the street lights turned back on. So, and the bad side of all this, we're ballparking it, but it looks like that storm cost us $250,000. So that's the awful news and the awful storm. And most everybody is patient and understands that our policy always has been and always will be most up first. Most up first. Mr. Baxter.
Mayor, I'd just like to follow this up with, I know that we have a social media representative out there for the electric department that puts information out there as best that they can, and they're not on the streets themselves, but they're getting feedback from the crews that are out there, and the person responsible for that, they have to sit there and take all the smack that's talked to them when they report that, we hope to have it up in the morning or whatever. So just kudos to the individual who's monitoring the social media page.
Yeah, we had an after-action meeting today to go over everything that we did, and one of the things that we all agreed on is that we're getting our arms around the social media, and we think we did it better than we ever have. And Joe Ponder and Nathan Hamilton and Jim Billings worked together on that, and they did a great job. And I know Jill got 22 she was up 22 hours without sleep, and that's tough. And so we appreciate all the work that these guys and girls put in. The other thing I wanted to talk about was we're running, we thought we were going to start our paving project in the middle of July. The contractor requested that we push it off a couple of weeks, of which our only stipulation was it has to be done before school starts. So our new schedule is Fairway is going to be done August the 1st through the 5th, and North Hills is going to be done August the 8th through the 12th. So we will finish 3 or 4 days in advance of school starting. So I want everybody to know that. We will get it out on Facebook and on the website and let everybody know when it's coming. So I wanted you to be aware of that. And Ms. Ross?
Yes, I have two things. I want to say I love the electric department's outage map. If you go to the electric department's website, they have the outage map now, and it's showing the different houses out. That was great to see that. When somebody's complaining, I'm the only one out, and you can look on there, and you know they're not the only one out. There's several people out. The second thing is thank you to all the city employees working in this heat. I mean, we've got the street, the fire, police, electric department's out in it, code department, everybody. So they all drink lots of water.
They are.
Thank you. They're doing an awesome job.
We had 3 the other day that had to go to the doctor. And we told the department heads that they just have to make it mandatory that they stop, and they make it mandatory that they drink their Gatorade that we provide for them. It's not stop and drink when you're thirsty. It's you have to stop and drink. So hopefully we don't have any more that get sick. And we're watching them very closely. They're our family. Anybody else? How about a motion?
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor?
Okay, I gotta show you.
Robinson? Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.